Today I'd like to speak about three things that I've mentioned in the past, but try and give you a better idea how they fit together now. The three things are savings, investing, and gambling. Again, let me define those briefly, and let me also share with you how they fit. And then I'd like to share some understandings and philosophies that have come from years of looking at financial matters, from ideas from people all over the world and from many, many time frames. Savings is the money that is set aside where the money's safe, where it's freely available when it's needed without question, where it can produce something of significance while it's waiting to be used, where there's no penalties or taxes or losses involved in obtaining the money. Savings are the foundation for everyone's finances, everyone. Until a person has enough savings to be comfortable now and perhaps for the rest of their life, they have no business looking at gambling as an example. Savings are critical. First, they give greater safety, and second, having access to those savings means that there are plenty of opportunities to make lots of money when real opportunities occur. The second thing is investing. Now again, I've defined investing as where you're putting your time or your money in places and in ways where you have control of many of the aspects of the investment. A job is an investment. We're investing in our own time and energy. We can work in the kind of atmosphere we want. We can work in the field that we want. We can work with the people we want. We can work where the opportunities lie. We have plenty of control over all those kinds of things. A farmer is an investor. He can't control everything, but he can control when he plows and plants, what he plows and plants, who he sells it to, what the markets are doing. If it doesn't rain, he can put in piping and irrigate, all kinds of things he can control. Not everything, but he can control lots. Done correctly, real estate property like rentals can be a good thing. Most of my clients who have real estate don't make any money because the price they pay for the real estate means that they can only break even with the rents that come in. That means they're largely at risk for what happens to the value of the house or whether people can pay the rent, what have you. So they lose control of a lot of the aspects of the investment. But the ones who buy correctly and have a positive cash flow from the beginning, that's a real definition of an investment. Now, I talked about investments secondary to savings, but investment is where the money comes from to save. So think of the investments as a well, a place where the water is drawn and then can be kept in a container where it can be used as needed. The third thing is gambling, and I use the word gambling because a lot of people gamble having been convinced that gambling and saving are the same thing. It's absolutely wrong. Gambling is when you put your money down somewhere and you have no control over what happens next. As an example, you could put all your money down on a roulette wheel in Las Vegas and say, roll the wheel. You have no idea, no control over where the ball lands. That's gambling. Tell me exactly what's different between that and throwing your money down on a table in Wall Street. You have no control over what happens next to the stocks or bonds or anything else. So it's gambling. We're constantly being told, gamble your money, that's the way you secure a future. It doesn't work that way. Gambling is fine once you have enough money to be secure. Then any money you have that you could lose and not even bother you, well, then you can gamble. And you may make a lot of money. You may or may not make any money. You probably lose if statistics hold true. But at least you're not going to sacrifice your future in the process. You say, well, there are some people who win. Well, yes, There's some people who win in Las Vegas. There's some people who win in Wall Street. But generally speaking, they're professionals who spend their whole time doing so. And they don't always win. They'll tell you maybe the best they can do is be right 70% of the time. In the last 14 years, since I got my clients out of the stock market because it was dangerous, my clients have done very well. But they have not been gambling. I have not met a single person, hundreds of people that I've met in these last 14 years. I haven't met a single person yet who had money in the market 14 years ago who has more money now than they had then. There are some approaching what they had 14 years ago after 14 years of loss. That is not the way you build a future. Now let me share some philosophies with you that I think kind of go hand in hand with these. It's always a very tempting thing, a very attractive thing to want to gamble. And you can, as long as you have money available to keep yourself secure, especially if you have enough money to handle emergencies if they come and to take care of opportunities as they come, because money attracts opportunities. Let me just share some ideas with you. You could have a winning score and still be a loser in life. Many rich people are losers. The goal is not to be a loser, not in money and not in life. There's a balance. Money is a tool, it's only part of the picture. And we have to look at our relationships, the satisfactions that come from other places if we want to be whole as far as our investing goes. We are investing with money, we're investing with our lives. Another saying that I think is important: a prudent investor has to anticipate the end of a trend and make sure he is not destroyed by it. Now, that goes together with the idea of old money and new money. Old money is money that is passed from one generation to the other. People think long term. Fathers and mothers teach children, and children teach the grandchildren. Money is a legacy, not just an inheritance. It must be considered a legacy. So many people just look at money that comes from a previous generation as a windfall. Wow, I can pay off all my debt. Wow, I can have a future now because of money left to me. That's the wrong attitude, because the money will die there in that generation. Wealthy people see that each generation is a custodian of the wealth that past and present and future generations are accumulating, and it's their job to keep that wealth and to make it continue to grow. There's another thing. The money must be placed in a way where the money will survive the given generation and not just be destroyed by the future generation. Wills and trusts come into place here. Sometimes corporations come into place. But these things all have to be considered when a person is making investments in the future. We have to be on the right side of compounding. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, and the only wonder that always works, always. Now, the normal investment has constant costs involved that eat away from the potential of the investment. Those costs are the cost of management, they're the cost of a mutual fund, which is something people commonly do, they're the costs of taxes with the government. All of those costs eat up and eat away into the investor's cash flow. I'll leave off there now, but there are a number of other things we can talk about in the next discussion which will pick up on these ideas. And if you pay close, I'm not giving you investment advice. If you understand these fundamental principles, then you can begin to understand the solid way to start building finances. Take control of your own money, keep it safe, and look for opportunities. Then you'll understand how wealthy people become wealthy and stay wealthy because they're using their money intelligently as a tool.